Hey, everybody. I just noticed I have something in the middle of my tooth right here. Okay, well, that's unfortunate, but we got to move on. I think I'm going to have to keep it there. Live TV. All right, it's gone. Let's give gratitude for that. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so tonight, what happened? The topic is, what happens when you allow yourself to feel a sense of success? And it's kind of a question that I kind of did not know the answer to, and I'm still actually trying to find out. But it's sort of rhetorical, but what happens is you actually feel successful. And I know that sounds kind of, you know, like a joke, but how many of us go throughout our day really, conscious and aware that we're doing things that make us feel successful, or that we're having feelings of doing well or doing good? And I think it's more the opposite, actually, where our days are more concerned about what do I have to do, or what am I not doing well at? That's kind of driving us. So if we can imagine that the goal is to feel good about yourself, then we can do certain things, certain behaviors that are actually kind of simple and easy to understand, but take practice to get to that more, self-esteem, self-worth, feeling that through and course through us, as not as something temporary, but as something that is more with us as a constant. So this is very interesting to me, because I work with some clients who are having anxiety. I talk to people, in these times of the COVID pandemic, who are also struggling and having a hard time. But I also remind myself that this was not a whole. In some ways, there was many different things happening now that weren't here a year ago. But anxiety is nothing new, and I don't think before the pandemic we were feeling that successful in our lives, personally speaking, in general anyway. So it's extra timely, though, and extra, I think, applicable and relevant to these days we're in now, where we need to feel this sense of accomplishment, a sense of like we are spending our time down here with the resources and the constraints that are on us, but still managing to thrive. And so last week I talked a little bit about gratitude and gave a short little talk on that. And I'm back here again talking about gratitude, but this is a little bit different. But it's similar to last week in that we're trying to bring in and incorporate more experiences of gratitude so that we can feel better about ourselves. Another word we like to say these days is successful, whatever that might be. So I want to just start by saying that a few days ago I was out running, and it was really, really cold. We're having a lot of cold weather, and this is even here in California, in Millbrae on the peninsula, pretty cold. And I was really not really feeling up to going for a run, but I knew I needed to go for a run. And as I'm running, I sometimes think about what I want to say, what I want to talk about, and it helps to kind of get clarity. But as I was returning back from the end of my run, I was coming down this hill, and I came to this corner, and I slowed down because there was a older looking lady in a chair by herself with probably 4 or 5 crates of oranges, okay, that she was selling. And right before I noticed her, I remembered feeling very like, what do I have to say? Or, what am I grateful for? What can I be, happy about? And, and then when I saw her, it really changed my whole perspective because I saw someone who might have a very difficult time searching within her life for anything, that is in any way rewarding. Because clearly, for her to be out in this really cold weather at that age, sitting and not moving in a chair, trying to sell oranges, even if she had a lot of things, which I assume she didn't, to go out there and do that was no easy experience. So it just kind of made me think a little bit even deeper about the meaning of gratitude and why it's so important to kind of nurture it. Even so, I started to think as I was reading more about gratitude that having small successes and small little accomplishments throughout your day is extremely important. Um, we actually don't know about tomorrow. We don't know what it's going to bring. To be honest, not dramatic, but we don't know if there is going to be a tomorrow. Maybe there might not be too many tomorrows for that woman who was there. And so, why wait is the point here. Why wait for gratitude to feel a sense of achievement or to feel happy at some golden time, at some golden age? When the sun comes out and we're retired and we got our bills paid and everything's done. That's not the point. The point here is that gratitude can be felt right here and right now. You can feel good right now. You don't have to wait into the future to bring this wonderful emotion and make it part of your life. So that's my first point, is that the point of this is to try to feel successful and happy by taking little things into account throughout our day. Couple points I want to hit on a couple things that are sort of pitfalls to this. It may seem easy. Oh, I can feel happy. I'm feeling happy. That's not it. It's not about forcing. Nor is it also about, or either about, trying to minimize problems. Sure, we all want to be through with our work. We want to get to the things that we enjoy the most. But this searching for later on again, or minimizing hassles, or avoiding loss, or avoiding problems, okay, that gives some gratitude. Like, okay, sorry to keep talking about the pandemic, but maybe you were out and may have been close to somebody nearby, and later you realize you're okay. That could bring a really great sense of happiness and success, actually, because you may have narrowly missed someone who was sick and got the virus. But it's not about trying to just take care of problems and feeling good about that. Like, oh yeah, I'm done doing the dishes. Okay, finally I'm done. I filled my car up with gas. Okay, good. That's over with. Or that's really okay to be thankful about those things, those chores. But those to me are sort of things that you're dependent upon to give you thankfulness. And what if they don't go right? Right? What if they don't go right? So that's the first point I want to make. Thankfulness doesn't come about in a really proactive way if we're just trying to avoid problems. So what I'm asking and what I'm trying to encourage here, I have some notes on my screen, is to make thankfulness a regular part of your day. And there are some things I'm going to talk about in a few minutes to see if that might help you to make this something that you might enjoy doing and then reap the benefits. Speaking of the benefits, it's not just the sense of well-being or happiness or good about yourself. Those are wonderful things in itself. If gratitude was just about those things, that would actually be really great. We'd probably be really, really good. The thing about gratitude, in addition to those things, is that it brings not just mental health, okay, less anxiety, less depression, less fear, less whatever. It also does other kind of miraculous things for you. It could help you in your relationships. It can help you sleep better. It can help you feel less lonely. It's a very comforting thing. And for me, I like to make analogies. Gratitude is like when you sweep away all of the other stuff that's in your way, and then you come home, okay, you walk a path toward your door, and all the other stuff is on the fringe, and gratitude is a gateway. You open up that door and possibilities happen for you that may never have been there. I don't know how great that analogy was. I think I had something else in mind. But the idea is that it kind of can clear out or make room for you to experience things that you never or have not experienced in a long time. Okay, maybe this is an idea that you're important. Maybe that's something you haven't had a lot of time or energy to look into. Maybe that wasn't something on your list. But gratitude is also not just giving to others or giving to yourself or experiencing yourself. It's also giving to others, and that comes back to you through karma. So giving gratitude and thanks for things that happen to you is one thing about gratitude. But when you give to others, know that you are filling up your gratitude tank. Okay? A couple more things I want to just mention here that I feel are really important. I've been reading a book called Hardwiring Happiness by Eric Hansen. He's a neuroscientist, and he is also a professor over at Berkeley. And his book is pretty awesome because this material is actually from another book of his called Resilience. There's a lot of science out there right now that support the things we kind of already knew, but it's saying, you know what, we really know it now. So when we start to do these types of things that I'm going to say here in a minute, and we start to focus in on experiences that are positive, and particularly with gratitude and having a sense that you are aware of having gratitude. So there's like the inner hub within you, which is the awareness part of us on the wheel that I mentioned before. We can notice that we're having gratitude. And when we notice we're having gratitude for something, the brain embeds that more. That sinks in more neurologically. And we start to begin something called going from state of mind, which is, that cake was great, or it was so great seeing my friend, and now you're on to your chores, which maybe doesn't allow you to go to your place where you want to respond, is that when you go from a state, you can go to a trait. It's kind of this phrase that he uses in there. So the process I'm talking about tonight of experiencing gratitude is one that if you continue to do it in the manner that I describe in other ways, you're actually bringing it into yourself as a trait, something that will happen more automatically. The other thing I want to mention, I forgot to mention this, is another pitfall, which is a common thing, and I'm so guilty of doing this. We have so many things happening in our life right now, right? So that let's just take, for example, Well, when we are finished with some kind of a chore, or whether it's work, maybe we're finished with a phone call to somebody, and the phone call went really well. Maybe they called you or you called them, but it went well. The problem is, as soon as we hang up, there isn't always so much time for reflection. We're on to the next chore or thing. So the call gets mixed into the pot with all the other stuff, and it's very indistinguishable sometimes as a success. It's just, and then so you hang up on the phone, and now the next thing you do is you got to answer a text. You're on your phone, or you got to check your email. Guess what? Checking email could be thought of as a little success. Oh, I checked my email. I'm up to date. I don't have anything in my inbox. And guess what? As soon as you're done with that, then you go on to the next thing. Oh, yeah, I got to start getting ready for my run, or I got to do my exercise. So now what happens with the small success of the email is that gets lost. Or it doesn't get lost, but it's overlooked. It's not really embedded. So that was the other pitfall, is that we have many things, so many things happening within our life, we can't really tell or feel that we're successful sometimes, because what we're doing is so required or so habitual that we actually don't really realize that there is an opportunity there to reflect on something as simple as even picking up a spoon and putting it to your mouth. Okay, that could be a success. May sound silly, we take that for granted, but some people can't do that. So anyway, that's the other pitfall I wanted to mention. Okay, I'm going to do an exercise with you in a few minutes. I just got to get these ideas off, and I just really think they're awesome. One of the really cool ways to frame gratitude and feeling successful in your life is to look at your actions in two ways. One is outcome goals, okay? The other is process goals. So whenever we have a goal, maybe it's just getting out of bed in the morning and brushing your teeth. That's a goal. Believe it or not, so is drying off your body. So is walking to the car. So is turning on the car. So is putting on a jacket. So is, saying hello to the people around you. In a sense, those are all really outcome-driven goals, and that's just inherent in our life because we are goal-oriented in nature, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's very important, though, to take these small little things that are happening. Again, I'm repeating a little bit, but to take these little things and look at them as accomplishments. Because at the end of the day, we can sometimes feel very defeated when we don't accomplish a big goal. Like, for example, when we do not get a research paper done, or we do not finish a project, or we just came within reach of almost, meeting some other goal. Maybe it was to exercise longer than 30 minutes. We just, if we're doing that all the time, we're always playing catch up. So we have to take stock. Okay, count your blessings, right? Is another way of saying it. But that's not really what I mean. What I mean here is that since we're so outcome driven, it's very important to notice the small little things that we do each day, right? The other part is process goals. Process goals I like in a way, because you know why? They're ongoing. Sometimes you don't even have to think about them. Process goals example is living. We're always living, so that's a goal that's being met every day. We may not always feel like we're living sometimes. Being honest, values, speaking the truth, checking in with yourself, exercising, keeping up your health, Those are all examples of ongoing process goals. So if your goal is, oh, I'm going to get a certificate that I am going to become the most ethical person in the world in 2 years after I graduate from, this program, fine, that's great. I'm not making fun. But remember what I said. How long is that moment going to last when you get that degree before you're on to your next thing? Meanwhile, the journey to get it is important. So all the steps each day, and even long after you graduate and get that degree, remember that keeps going and it keeps flowing. It's with you. It's ongoing. It's a process goal. So just to wrap up here, it's not really important, big or small, but we're very accustomed to big goals because we have so many things in our life that we're attending to. And part of this is our negative bias within ourselves, the survival mode that we're in. We're always feeling, well, we have to do this, we have to do that. And it's hard to look at that as an actual success and have gratitude for it if it feels like it's something that we're doing for our very survival. But you have to remember, survival is success. Okay, so I think I'm pretty much done with what I had to say about these points I'm making. I hope it came across to you in a not a judgmental way. I'm kind of passionate about it. I also am definitely more of a student than a teacher of this stuff. It's extremely hard to do, but it's very simple intellectually to understand. This is not rocket science, but it is rocket science, I think, putting it into effect. So I'll just close and then we'll do an exercise. The closing remark that I'm going to make, the most important one of all, related to all the things that I teach about reducing anxiety, gratitude, whatever it is. We have to practice it. Okay? Our brain will never assimilate this material in a way that it becomes second nature for us to feel gratitude unless we practice it. But guess what? We can do it. And you know why why there's proof? The proof is we can do many things that we're not very good at or that we don't like. Right? We're very good. Let me speak for myself. I'm very good at getting anxious. Why? Because I had a lot of practice. I practice it a lot. If I want to be better at it, I need to practice calm. It's just sounds simple, extremely hard to do. If you're not feeling very grateful, this sounds maybe a little strange to you, but you have to be grateful. In other words, what you have to do is you have to have the practice and find things to be grateful for, and slowly that will turn around and you will. So that's the message I want to leave it with. This takes practice just like anything. All right. Wow, 25 minutes. All right, so I'm going to just lead a little exercise here with you. I'd like you guys, this is called feeling successful, okay? It's a mindfulness exercise, and I'm just going to read it, and if you feel you want to join, that's great. Online, it's not the same as in person, but I think we should be grateful that we can do this even now. So I want you to take a few breaths, try to relax. I think I need to tell myself this more than my audience. Try to see if you could feel like you're on your own side. What I mean by that is that you're doing something for you, okay? Not for anybody else, but for you. I want you to think of a small, successful outcome you had. If you can do that for today. I'm going to just give one example, but I don't want you to use mine. Drinking water. Okay, that's a small outcome. It was a necessary outcome, but at the same time, it is also a success. Can't take it for granted, actually. So if you can think of one small thing, one small outcome, I want you to help yourself feel the accomplishment however small, and let go of the resistance to have to judge it and say, oh, this is not important. I had some water, or whatever small thing you did. Keep it in your mind and give yourself the benefit of the doubt here. See if you can notice any pleasure around that experience at all. See if you can kind of dwell for a few seconds in that space of whatever small outcome you did, what that experience felt like. And just recognize how it is actually important to you, whatever that is. You may have felt like you had to do it, but again, it's not about obligation. It's about treating it as a success. We're looking at it a different way. And I wanted to let you absorb this into your whole system. This very small, potentially overlooked experience, if I hadn't brought it up today, may have been missed. And I hope it's showing you a little bit now in your mind's eye that, hey, maybe in spite of the fact that today may have been a difficult, negative day for you, this thing happened. And just focus for a second about what's enjoyable about it. So that is a small outcome, right? Now, I also want to have you try to recognize some progress toward a big outcome. Maybe it's planting a garden, getting to know a new friend, a promotion at work, or something like that. But just something a little bit bigger. And I want you to see if you can let that bigger sense of achievement also kind of sink in to yourself. And acknowledge that you made some progress in achieving that, or if not completely achieving it, getting very close to it. So what the process I'm doing here is trying to make this experience part of your brain, a memory, but also train your brain also so that the next time you're out there in the world and we're done with this will remain, this experience, this kind of wiring our brain will kind of maybe open up our vision a little bit more and be more accepting of successes within our range. And then I just want you to be more aware again of fulfilling an ongoing process goal. This is the kind I was telling you before, which is always ongoing, kind of below the surface, such as just being alive. Maybe it's being fair to somebody. Maybe it's being fair to yourself. Eating right, doing something. Maybe it's just an enjoyable thing you did today, or enjoying life. Maybe there's nothing really specific, and that's a process goal. Okay? So we have small outcomes, big outcomes, and then we have the more outcome goal, and we have a process. You may also be aware that if you do this on your own, at home, it's okay. But be aware that this could bring up negative things as well. Maybe in the search for something good and pleasing and successful, it may be that you have some resistance to this. Now I'm leading you here and I'm, holding your hand along the way. But when you do this on your own, don't be surprised if some part of you objects. Wait a second, I don't have time to do this. Wait a minute, I have too many other things I have to do. I can't be looking at successes right now, especially in the time that we're in. This is no time for that kind of thing. Be aware that those types of words and thinking may come up within you. So being in touch with the positive can sometimes connect you to the negative. And all I'm going to ask you to try to do is accept that and not try to fight it but allow the negative to come up and see if you can bring back your attention to your success that you have brought to mind. This is when you do it later. And just, they always say at the end, try to let go. So I'm going to end with that and try to let go of talking tonight. I really do enjoy this. I think in person, I would enjoy it a lot more if I could, be across from a live breathing person. Zoom does help out and close that gap a little bit, but talking to a screen is very different. But I also want to say I feel support. I also want to recognize, before I forget, I have some close family friends, good friends of mine from far away that may be here watching tonight. I haven't checked on the chat because I got so focused on what I was doing, but I just want to thank them for their time tonight. I hope it was helpful. And always feel free to contact me. I do this every Thursday night at 8 o'clock. This is like the 7th time I think I've done this. And it's been great. So thank you, and peace out to all of you. I'm going to end this session, and thanks again for coming. Just got to find where my button is to end. So feel free if you want to chat or write anything up, but I'm going to try to end this as soon as I find my screen. There it is. All right. Goodbye, everyone.